School's canceled again. I love those words. Except that means either I'm going to get a day that I had for break that I'm going to have to work, or they're going to add on days to the end of the school year. Which I wouldn't mind because I'm not working right now. Like, when I'm done, I'm done. But there's one day that I'm really hoping that they won't put school on our schedule for, because otherwise I might cry. It's icy. Like, it was freezing rain last night, and so they canceled school today. Well, we had a 2-hour late start, and then at 8 I got a message saying that we were canceled today. But I was like, okay, 2-hour late start, great. Last night was a football game, and I had to stay up late to bring people home. It was a hot mess. But anyway, it was fine. So yeah. That was just a bunch of vocal fillers, and that hurts my soul. What have I become? So today, I'm going to get a lesson plan done because I have an observation tomorrow, and I was really hoping that I could have today of class to, get into the rhythm before, Tuesday's basically Monday for us. Yay! Oh well. So I'm going to work on that lesson plan today and modifying a PowerPoint that my cooperating teacher has sent to me. Last week, there was this student that decided to tell my cooperating teacher that he didn't know what we were talking about, but he didn't need to know because she was just going to explain it to him anyway. So, she decided they were going to have independent reading time. And they did. And they didn't have class time to do that independent reading. It was kind of like a punishment because we had been reading it with them. And she was like, well, if you think you can do it on your own, do it on your own. Read it on your own. Then the next day at class, we finished the last 2 scenes, which were teeny tiny. And then they took a quiz and a vocab test. They got their butts kicked. Some of them did really well. But some of the ones, especially the ones who were saying that we told them everything, not so great. So, I'm really interested to see how that class goes after today. Another day of just kind of lesson plans and things. Hopefully tomorrow will be better and I'll have more stories. I'll see you later. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a wild ride. And I have 2 weeks to talk about. So I'm going to do them in 2 separate videos, but I'm filming them all right now. So, don't mind me being in the same outfit the whole time. And Tuesday, we had our full day of school, which was fine. I got there, we did the thing. I was supposed to have my observation, but my university supervisor didn't know or failed to remember because I sent him an email with the correct time. Failed to remember that I had to have this lesson done during 6th hour instead of 7th. And 7th hour is our last hour of the day. Because that day during 7th hour, my cooperating teacher was being observed by another teacher and needed to do the lesson, so I couldn't lead it. He didn't come till halfway through the 6th hour, and he didn't observe me. So my CT did an observation, and it worked out just fine, but it was just one of those things where it was like, I reminded you. I told you. The heck. Boy. Then Wednesday was very eventful. Tuesday was yet again my only full day of school, I think. Yeah. Tuesday was my only full day of school last week. Because Wednesday, we had a full day of school. But I'm driving my way to work. A little bit late. And nervous because we had a meeting. But I wasn't speeding. But it was icy and cold, right? So I was in the slow lane because that lane was clearer than the fast lane. And I go onto this bridge, and I feel my car pull because of the ice. Try to correct it gently, but I'm wearing gloves, and my steering wheel's cold, and leather. So my hands slide on my steering wheel, and I overcorrect. And next thing I know, I'm going this way down the highway. And then I go into a ditch, and I'm facing backwards. Now, the scariest part of this whole thing was when I went into the ditch, I thought I was going to go up and come into the oncoming traffic on the other side of this ditch. But I spun around and I was okay, and it was something. But I didn't die and my car was okay. But I'll get there. I honestly don't know how I didn't hit a car, because there was a car next to me and a car behind me, and I was going sideways. But hey, Jesus is good, so it worked. But I was sitting in my car. Couldn't get a hold of my boyfriend, couldn't get a hold of my dad, who I know wasn't in class yet, and I knew he didn't have a meeting. Couldn't get a hold of anybody. And so I called my boyfriend. He didn't answer. And his mailbox is full, so I couldn't leave him a voicemail. But I was texting him to tell him what happened before I called AAA to get my car towed, because I knew that needed to happen. And then he calls me in the middle of me writing him this message, and I just collapsed into tears. Full on sob. I was terrified. I was like, I can do this, I can keep it together, whatever. It was rough. I cried and cried and cried and cried. But the thing about this whole thing, okay, after I talked to him, I was fine. I hung up with him, called AAA. They sent somebody. Granted, they didn't come as fast as they told me they were going to come, which kind of annoys me because I didn't have heat, and it was really cold in my car, because it was like negative 20 degrees outside that day. So not the coldest, but it was still really cold. I was at one point in time, I had extra gloves on my feet over my socks to keep my toes warm, and then I was sitting on my feet that had the gloves and the socks on them, because I was that cold. My boyfriend comes, whatever, and I went and sat in his warm car while we waited for the tow truck. But the thing that drives me crazy, like I was saying before, the thing that drives me crazy is that I sat there for a good 30 to 35 minutes in the middle of the highway. Highway on the side, ditch, highway, hands in the ditch. Nobody stopped. Not a single person even slowed down to hey, are you okay? As I'm sitting in the ditch, in my car. Snow was up to my waist, people. Up to my waist. No one stopped. But as soon as my boyfriend got there, as soon as he got there, and we got across the highway into his car where he had parked, because he didn't park on the shoulder closest to me, because it was not as wide of a shoulder, and he didn't want people to hit his car and then cause an accident and whatever. 4 or 5 cop cars stopped. One was an undercover. And I had seen 3 cop cars pass. 2 were state troopers. One was something else. I can't remember what it was. But seriously, 3 passed prior to him getting there. Nobody stopped. 4 passed, and 4 alone, while he was with me, all of them stopped or slowed down or got out of their car and was like, are you okay? Now that I have heat and a person with me, yeah, I'm fine. It would have been nice if you would have, I had it under control, but it's their job. And when they saw me on the side of the road, it was fine. But when I was in the ditch, when it really mattered, when I could have been dead had I hit my head or gotten knocked unconscious and then died because I was cold and didn't get a hold of anybody, yeah, that would have been bad. It would have been nice to know somebody had my back. Because everyone assumed I was at school. And I don't answer my phone when I'm at school. Because I'm teaching. Just thinks a lot. Thinks a lot. State troopers, I tell you. So that was my Wednesday. But I still went to class. I drove my boyfriend's car and he drove my car to the repair shop to make sure that my car was okay. And I still got to class. He brought me and then picked me up. But I still got to school by 3rd hour. I only missed 2 hours in prep in the morning. That was it. And I got into a major accident. So, well, technically, I think it was a minor accident, but whatever. Point is, it was terrifying. Anyway, the rest of Wednesday goes fine. It was great. I got to laugh and joke about it with the kids. Just ignore my arm. Sorry. Wednesday was great. Then Thursday, get dropped off at school. We spend 45 minutes getting to school because it was ridiculously windy and freezing and snowing like crazy and the roads were terrible. But we got there because we didn't have a late start. Then we find out that at noon we're being let go. They're feeding us lunch and we're going home. I mean, we don't get fed because we're teachers, but that is... I'm glad we don't have to make up that day of school. Very glad. But annoyed that they made me risk my life to get there. And then we're like, okay, now you can go home because we made our day of school. Thanks. Glad you care. Friday school was canceled. It was canceled by Thursday night. Like, there was no chance. So I had one full day of school last week as well. And it was trash. Absolute trash. So, that's my fun story. Be careful going down the highway, and don't wear gloves, or do wear gloves, or something. I don't know if frostbite is better or getting thrown into the ditch. But the jury's out on gloves for this one, folks. Don't forget to like and subscribe in order to get notifications for when new videos come up. Wow, I can't talk. But I hope you're really enjoying these, and leave a comment down below. Let me know what I could be doing better, if you have anything you want to talk about, etc. See you next time.